Hugh, really good to see you. How are you?
I'm very well, Dominic. It's nice to talk to you again.
So this is such a beautiful movie. I thought it was outstanding. I'd watched those stories from sort of our childhood being translated into film, but to get the behind the scenes of Roald Dahl and particularly actually Patricia Neal, I think that's an untold story. Them together, incredible.
It is. It's a story I certainly didn't know. I didn't even know that Roald Dahl was married to a Broadway and Hollywood actor in the 60s, and that they'd had three children. And nor did I know that they'd tragically lost their eldest, Olivia, to measles. And that really is the backdrop of the film. It's a story of this family going through this unimaginable and painful experience, and how they navigate that with varying degrees of success, and how they come out the other side. And so there is a sort of positive ending, but they go through huge pain along the way. So I didn't know that story at all, and so it's been an honor to actually explore it and to explore that relationship.
Going Solo and Boy, the autobiographies of Roald Dahl, and I fell in love with those books because as a kid who loved those stories, to then hear about the real man, and of course we know there's controversy surrounding some of Roald's later views and things he said, but the very heart of his RAF background, his excitement of being part of Britain, there was a really interesting thing to see in the film about how that plays out and get that sense. And I just wonder how much you knew about him beyond that, childhood stories that we've all loved so much.
Well, like you, it was really these autobiographical memoirs of Boy and Going Solo that really got me began to give me a flavor of the man. Obviously, when you're reading the short stories or the books, you know that there's a vibrant and impish imagination at work, and someone who can get inside the head of a child and knows that they like to go to dark and naughty places, and the grown-ups are silly old farty pants sort of thing. I mean, it's all that sort of school of
about the sense of actually that time, 1962, families, what he was dealing with, and what they were dealing with together, because they're a quite extraordinary couple, actually.
Well, I think what I learned about particularly was, I mean, having experienced grief, through the loss of family members and so on, I think I recognized, as many people will, that the ebbs and flows of pain and the way that they impact people differently at different times. So I think that will be universally recognized. But I think he'd grown up in an era, as you've alluded to from both his books, his memoirs, in a stiff upper lip era where you didn't express, or certainly he found it perhaps hard to express that emotion. He certainly did when they lost Olivia, and really shut down, as some people do from any generation. And it was really how to I recognized how difficult it was for him to express the emotion that was actually there underneath it all. And it does come out, and it comes out in a huge burst of energy, initially of pain, and then through creative energy, actually, as it did also with her. I mean, her career was streets ahead of his, to be honest, at the time, and he found that difficult to cope with, I should imagine, and that's all wrapped up in the same pain, and but they do find a way through it. So I think I wouldn't say I like the man. I wouldn't say I want to sit next to him at dinner, because I think he could be quite a painful customer. I think he could really niggle you and enjoy nothing more than seeing an argument develop. And second guess, he blindside you. Whereas I think she, from all accounts, would have been was a wonderfully warm and engaging person. But I admire them both as a couple, and obviously you cannot but admire both their talents.
Hugh Bonneville, we love having you on the show. Thank you so much for being with me.
It's been lovely to talk to you, Dominic. Thank you.